You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Hello, everybody.
I hear that. Hello,
welcome,
Joey.
Welcome. Yo.
Are you there?
I am here.
I'm here too. We're all
there
good.
You go. Yes, we are. So what we decided to do was to review the film we intended to review, which is Phantom of the Paradise, the 1974 film by Brian De Palma.
Right.
Who, for all intents and purposes, I actually like Brian De Palma.
De Palma's hit and miss.
Over the last 15 years or so, he's been very miss. Just about everything he's done has sucked giant dick. We can go over that a little later.
Oh, yes.
But the beginning of his career, even films like Blowout, which isn't the greatest film around, but you have to respect like the filming style. He was trying new things.
You don't have to, but it'd be nice. I mean, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
no, you don't have to, but yes, it would be nice.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So anyway, this is a little film that he did in 1974. One of the first feature films he ever did. Probably the one, if I'm not mistaken, got him the most notoriety, which then was able to allow him to make the Carrie a couple of years later.
Well, if by notoriety you mean it bombed. Yeah.
No, I thought. Well, it became a cult classic.
Cult classic, but at the time, everyone hated it.
As they should have.
No, it was a huge flop, especially for all the struggle they put into it. It was only recognized, like years later, it just kept on coming up, and it gained a cult following. Was actually the movie book series Cult Films, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I believe it's in volume 2.
Right.
It's officially a cult film. But yeah, no, it was not received well. I'm not trying to contradict you there, but
one thing I want to bring up very quickly, and I don't remember because I saw this the last time I saw this before for this review. I was a kid. I was maybe pushing my teenage years, if that. And I remembered absolutely despising this film when I was a kid. But I now have the Blu-ray of it, and that's what I'm playing in the background for everyone to see. Did they always have like in the beginning of the film where it said the juicy fruits on the marquee where it looked like it was superimposed?
That bad matting? Yeah, there's a whole story behind that. That has always been there.
Because I don't remember that as a kid. Maybe because when I was watching it, it was on, a 4:3 aspect television with shitty quality, and it was grainy, you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But in Blu-ray, it's remastered, it looks gorgeous, it's like it really stands out.
That's definitely what it is. I didn't remember it back then either. Only upon repeated viewings later in life that I started noticing, what's with this crappy little man? And you'll see it like in about a dozen other places in the film. What happened was Led Zeppelin fucked over De Palma. In the film, Swan's label was supposed to be Swan Song Records.
Oh.
And then while they're making the film, Led Zeppelin starts their logo called Swan Song.
Yeah, and they also had a song called Swan Song.
And Led Zeppelin said, "No, you can't do that." And it was one of those things where the film was already over budget. It was already there. They didn't have the money to begin with, and to take it to court, they could have won. but they didn't have the time or the resources to actually take it to court. So Led Zeppelin cocksuckers forced their hand. And if you get the Blu-ray special edition from the Shout Factory, God bless those people.
Which is the trailer I showed. I thought I'd give them a little shout out.
They deserve it. It's a beautiful. I don't buy many Blu-rays these days. I bought that one. They have a great documentary on the making of it, and they have a whole thing just on that whole fiasco. And they have original masters that they show of what the scenes would have looked like if they hadn't had to cut things out. One of the things they were trying to do in the film was every time there was a establishing shot, it was supposed to start from a camera that was owned by Swan. By Swan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they're on or you start on a street sign that was Swan Song Lane or something like that. So the whole idea was every shot was in the shadow of Swan, and it would start on that and then pan down or pan over, and they had to cut a lot of that because it was all based around Swan Song. And it actually changed the structure of the film in a little ways. They had to cut things out that were thematically important to the film, and again the shitty mats they had in there, like in interviews, De Palma goes back, says, "I hate it. It's horrible. We wish we hadn't had to do it." They couldn't even afford to do it well. They just had to slap them in there. So there's a lot of this. Once you know that and you watch it, you'll see them everywhere, and you'll notice scenes where it's like, wow, that was cut a bit. That was cut oddly. That's because of that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. In rewatching this, I did notice that there were a few abrupt cuts, and it just seemed weird. And it didn't play properly in my head. And as you mentioned now, that's why I noticed it.
I don't think I noticed it at all until I revisited the film later in life on DVD. And that was like one of the first times, like at the beginning where it says the juicy fruits. It's like, wow, that plastered on there. Why did they do that? They
It's so vibrant and just so clear in the Blu-ray remaster. It actually looks like something that would be done nowadays to save money, and because it can be done on a fucking Mac.
But it would have done so much better than that. So.
Sure, yeah.
And that's just one of the. I mean, this is one of those films that, like, when you hear about what happened, and there was this whole the casting nightmares where there were like 20 different people up for all these roles, and they didn't even know who was going to play stuff until the film actually started. A lot of that stuff going on. It was just a very hectic production. It's one of those things where you can't really appreciate how great the film is until you realize just how hard it was for them to shit it out. It was just a painful, rock hard turd the entire way. And that, it's not a pretty metaphor, but it kind of makes the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason behind that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
As a kid, despised this movie, hated everything about it. As an adult, maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because we review so many shitty movies that my palate for it has not numbed. That's not it at all. It's that I can genuinely tell a shit movie when I see it. Phantom of the Paradise is not that. Did I enjoy it? Not really. Do I despise it like when I was a kid? Not at all. So it's a review that I thought I was going to have more hatred towards the film, but don't get me wrong, there's still things I don't like. Like, for instance...
Well, I'll tell you what, hold on.
All right. Yeah.
Before we go to what you don't like...
How come we lost video on you?
I turned it off temporarily because I was doing horrible things to my face.
Oh, okay.
I'm better now. Before we get on what you don't like about the film...
Okay.
You say, I love this movie. I'm passionately in love with this film. I could watch this film over and over, much to the detriment of those around me. When you say you don't care for it, but that means you don't hate it, tell me what you did like.
What I did like?
Yes.
I loved Paul Williams in this movie. I just, for whatever reason, I just remembered not liking... Maybe not liking him when I was a kid growing up, but he was always, with the Muppets and everything, and I always loved the Muppets. So I don't think that's what I didn't like when I was a kid. But as an adult, looking back, rewatching this. Paul Williams is awesome in this movie. His performance, his deliverance, for all the scenes that he's in are excellent. He is great, and I really liked him in this. I hated the girl though. And you know what I found infuriating about her?
What?
The way she dances. It's infuriating.
That whole dance.
Was she like in a fucking hoedown? I mean, that's what that was.
It's the 70s.
No, nobody danced like that in the 70s. It's a fucking chicken dance meets heroin. I mean, it was... I'd rather watch Elaine from Seinfeld doing that shitty dance that she does over this. Man. But no, I liked some of the music. I've never really been a Paul Williams fan as far as music, music.
You know what? When you talk about, like, as a kid, you saw Paul Williams and you recognized him. He was in the Muppet movie. He was on the Muppet Show. But as children, we didn't understand who he was as a professional. The fact that he was a songwriter that just became this kind of mogul, if you will, or icon that was doing talk shows that we didn't watch as children, and behind all these all these songs, he was just all these singers and just kind of discovered or taken into the limelight by the Carpenters when they heard one of his songs on a commercial. And I mean, there's a great documentary about him now out there.
As a matter of fact, he was on. It's not Opie and Anthony anymore. It's actually Opie and Jim Norton now. He was on there talking about it, and when he did, I want to actually see it.
I'm blanking on the name of it. It's like I'm Not Dead or I'm Still Here or God, and it's pissing me off that I'm suddenly, because I've seen it. I have my problems with the documentary because I think I discussed it on another show where the person making the documentary makes the film about him instead of about Paul Williams.
That's right. You did mention that.
Yeah, it's like, and like this bond, this friendship of ours. So I don't give a fuck about your friendship with Paul. I just want to know more about him. Can we not? It's okay at the beginning and kind of cute, and by the last half of the film, you're just like, I really didn't sign up for this. I wanted an actual documentary, not a.
Paul Williams still alive.
Yeah, still alive. That's it.
Yep.
But so I've over the years, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate him more because I've realized more and more that he was involved in stuff that I liked. Like, when we went into Ishtar, like he did the music for Ishtar.
That's right. That's the last thing. That's the last thing he wrote music for, by the way.
Well, movie-wise,
Movie-wise, yes.
He was Bugsy Malone as a kid, and there's his music there. And
only 2 years after this film.
Right, and again, he as a kid, like if I only knew him as Little Linus.
Oh, right. You know what was interesting when we did
the Smokey and the Bandit.
Right. That's right. You know what was interesting when we reviewed Bugsy Malone, and you were talking about how Paul Williams regretted how he did some of the music in that film, where he sang, but he said he wished he let the kids sing, and that he was, rushing, and he just was just going back and forth, and things were like turned in late and whatever and whatnot. Looking at just on his filmography as far as music goes, he had 4 projects that he was doing music for in that very year.
Oh yeah.
So it was Bugsy Malone, The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, The McLean Stevenson Show, and A Star Is Born. That year.
And he was on tour.
He was sending in masters that he was recording on the road.
Right. I mean, he was doing a lot, and no wonder drugs became a part of the whole thing.
Oh,
I mean, I don't.
Alcohol, big time.
I don't know how you sustain that kind of level without.
And he was doing the Muppet Show.
Well, yeah, and he had his own show eventually. He was guest hosting for show. I mean, everyone loved him. He was just, that's part of that whole documentary where the guy starts off about how, growing up he was everywhere. It's like, and now where is he?
Yeah.
But so we got sidetracked on that. Oh, you saying the things you love. You like Paul Williams.
Paul Williams was great. William Finley as Winslow and the Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him.
He's great. He's very underrated.
I liked him a lot as the Phantom.
He was in another film.
I love that eye.
Oh, yeah.
That glaring eye.
I'm pretty sure he was in another film we reviewed.
He was.
The Fury.
He was in The Fury.
Yes.
Which another Brian De Palma film.
Well, there you go. Brian De Palma favorite.
Yep.
I mean...
I read a little trivia thing that they did this film in 1974, and Brian De Palma was the director of film for his wedding in 1975. He took all the video for it.
Oh, that's cool.
I'd love to see that footage, that wedding footage.
I'm sure it'll be on a DVD at some point.
Well, William Finley's dead. He died 3 years ago.
Somebody's got the masters.
Yeah, 3 years ago, I think he died. 3 or 4.
Now, I mean...
after complications after surgery.
Now,
that sucks.
Now we're talking about the film. We haven't even really explained what the film is to anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Do you want to do it since you love it so much? You want me to do it?
I'll do a brief. You can fill in the holes if I miss anything. But it's a retelling of. It's kind of like a mix between Faust and Phantom of the Opera, and it's a 70s rock opera about a musician who is double crossed, and his music's stolen by this enigmatic music mogul, kind of like Geffen but cooler, by the name of Swan. And there's a whole love triangle involved, and then Satan gets into the picture, and it's all about selling your soul for fame or for
and
love.
fortune.
And there's a lot of send up on the music industry as a whole, which I think is probably still relevant to this day.
Very much so.
And and there's a lot of singing involved too, and some great music. And
not a fan of the music.
What, really?
All of the Paul Williams type stuff, not a fan of. The rock music, like the Glitter Age that they go through, Beef.
Glitter.
Specifically.
It wasn't Glitter. That was, I don't know, call it something else. It wasn't a Glitter Age.
No, it was like a Iggy Pop, David Bowie type character.
I would lean more towards like Alice Cooper type stuff.
Let's call it glam.
It's not glam. Just because it was supposed to be throughout the film. It's one of the gimmicks in the film that I love, and I'm not into music, so this means something to me. Is that the whole idea is his music is stolen by Swan, and then it's given to this band that keeps changing with whatever is popular. At the beginning, it's the nostalgia age where they're doing like 50s greaser singing. Then it moves on to a Beach Boys parody. Then it morphs into this kind of Alice Cooper goth, dark music, metal music.
They're called the Undead at that point.
But every time they play, it's the same song rewritten. Right. You're listening to the same, but it's done well. Because if you're not paying attention, you don't even notice. It's the same song, tweaked every time. You start hearing the same lyrics or same themes. You hear the same song maybe up to a half a dozen times.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And I love music in this. I could sing for you at the moment 3 of the songs I have memorized.
Don't do that.
Right now I can sing it.
Please don't.
I still can't read the song. But what about Beef? You don't like Beef?
Love Beef.
Beef is the
Gerrit Graham is awesome. Let's put it this way, if we hadn't reviewed TerrorVision already, that would be your challenge. Okay? Oh, and by the way, when he is introduced to the media, when he comes out of the coffin, that has to be our banner for the Moviesucktastic page.
I already stole it as my own icon for Facebook, but I'll do what I can do.
So people know what the film is. I mean, I can do it. I will.
You'll make it.
Photoshop a Phantom of the Paradise poster in there, but it has to be our banner for the Moviesucktastic.
I'll let you change the one I threw up.
What'd you put up?
I just put up Swan and the Phantom together.
And that's fine.
No.
I'll change it.
But Gerrit is fucking awesome.
I love him.
He's great in everything. He's just one of those weird. I don't know. I wouldn't call him a great actor, maybe a great character actor, but I've never seen him in a thing where I was unhappy with him. He was in the first Tales from the Crypt.
That's right.
He was with the one guy the switch operator for the electric chair that starts killing people on his own. He was one of the people he kills. The only reason I remember that is because it's like a really serious episode. And then when he electrocutes him in the hot tub, Gerrit crosses his eyes when he's twitching. It's like, oh, come on. What? Really? Now, and one of the things that I saw in one of the documentaries on the Shout Factory Blu-ray, I can't recommend it enough. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Was that Gerrit doesn't sing the songs in the film when they actually have the numbers. But looking back, he kind of regrets not letting him, because when he's singing in the shower, that's really him, and that's almost the same voice.
Yeah, I know.
It's really...
I love that little move he does with the soap, where he like throws it behind his back and it comes out in front of him and he catches it, and it's like it's just a little thing.
Life at last, salutations from the other side.
But I would imagine, and I don't know if it says it in the audio commentary because I haven't listened to it, if Gerrit just did that. And De Palma's like, yeah, we'll keep it. I love it.
I'm sure you're not directing something that small. It was probably. I mean, I mean, the guy's been around. You know, he's not just going to stand there and sing.
Oh yeah.
But I love the big things about the film. The theme. A lot of the you have a lot of reoccurring themes in the film. Not just death, but also birds, the swan, the idea of Phoenix, the whole idea of the surveillance. Again, the kind of ridicule of the industry, the music industry, which in some ways I'm sure De Palma was kind of putting a lot of stuff in there for the film industry as well. But so I'm sure it's all the same gripes. Little things too. Just when Winslow sneaks onto the property to find out why he hasn't heard from Swan about his music, and and they're having the casting call, and he tells the girls and he's telling her, oh, I wrote the music. And then she says, the Juicy Fruit's going to do it. And he said, are you kidding? and she's like, and the girl that's talking, dead face, do I look like a kidder? It's so small, but that fucking line kills me every time. It's got that kind of surreal feel to it where not everybody's trying to act like 100% real. There's a bit of surrealism to it, a bit of
right.
Almost, I don't know what you would call it, like stage presence, where this isn't the real world, this is the super real world. I mean, Paul Williams does that a lot with his character.
Yeah, he does. Definitely he does. I mean, in Paul Williams' character, you find out later in the film, well, are we that far yet? Like the surrealism?
Oh, if you want to, jump ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because what happens is Swan, they open the film with talking about how he has pioneered music as we know it, essentially. That's what they say. He brings Liverpool to America. He, with the Juicy Fruits and, like you said, with the Greaser, the band, and then the Beach Boys type one, and then the Undead. And they just go on and on about how he has just revolutionized music, and he's the sole reason why we're at where we are. And later on in the film, you figure out why that is. He was like this rock star, but he was going to commit suicide and makes a deal with the devil to give him everlasting life, and he makes that pact. And the thing is, what he does is exactly what the devil does with him, is he makes all these deals with the Phantom, Winslow, and Phoenix, the girl, and makes them sign these contracts. And he basically steals their voice and their soul, and the contract is binding. And he gives them fame and fortune. But the thing of it is, he takes what's most important to them, and they don't realize it. So the surreal part of the story is the whole the stealing of the soul and making a deal with the devil.
And there's a bit of the picture of Dorian Gray in there too, where he has to be recorded at all times, and he ages in the recordings, but not in real life.
That's right. That's right.
Not really any kind of and that, by the way, that narrator at the beginning who mentions that he brought the Beatles from the Liverpool, that was Rod Serling.
Was that Rod Serling?
Yeah, uncredited. That was actually Rod Serling, Mr. Twilight Zone himself.
I didn't. Well, I mean, Rod Serling's voice is very recognizable. Obviously, this was towards the end of his life.
Obviously.
And I did not recognize it at all.
Well, next time, pay better attention.
You can eat me.
So wait, now, what didn't you like about the film? What keeps you from enjoying it? Because there's nothing that I don't think there's anything I don't enjoy about this film. It's one of those things for me. It's one of those films where whatever flaws you can point out, they're flaws that like a diamond that accentuates the beauty of the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, when I was a kid, I really hated it. As an adult, I don't. Will I keep it in my collection? Yeah, I will. Will I watch it on a regular basis? No.
But that's not my question. What?
No, I know. I'm building up to your question.
Get big.
I don't hate the film at all.
No, I know. You said that.
Like, I can't say that I like it. What I don't like about it,
don't like the music.
What keeps me from it is the music.
What's your least favorite song?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
It's got to be the song that they're playing when the Phantom is looking in on the two of them in bed.
Oh.
That song is just... I just don't like music like that.
That's a throwaway, though. I mean, that's just...
It's fucking mushy as shit.
So what's your favorite song? What's the song you like the most?
Oh, Beefs.
Beefs?
Oh, yeah. Fucking love it. It's just his performance, just the way it's sung. I just love it. It's great.
I think my favorite lines from that song are "Sit and listen while the song begins. Hearts are broken. The bad guys win." Actually, reminds me of like a couple of lines from one of Gary's songs from Black Parade, which is not surprising since this is one of the films that kind of influenced that album.
Yeah, that's right. He did mention that to you.
Yeah. He mentioned that in interviews. Not just me. No traits.
Well, I think he mentioned it to you, I believe, first, and then when he was actually going on interviews.
Well, sure. Yeah,
I'm
not trying to take credit for it. I'm just saying.
But you should, because you introduced him to the movie. Anyway.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I introduced the lead singer of My Chemical Romance to this film, and I influenced music, God damn it. I influenced music history, a small part of it, but music history I influenced by making him watch this movie.
Yes.
And he made me watch Brain Donors, which had no effect on anything in the world, but I still love that film.
That's what
I get. That's what I get. I introduced him to this. This spawns like a whole album for him. He introduces me to a cheesy little comedy that I still can't get anybody else to watch. Thank you, Gary. You're welcome.
You know what? There are more things as an adult that I like with this film than dislike.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it won't keep me from watching it.
Well,
at all. So I will visit this film more often now that I've rewatched it.
What surprised you the most that you liked in this? What was the thing like you expected to hate the most? It's like, oh wow, this is actually I'm enjoying this.
To be honest, the acting. Why do you do that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. You know why I do that? This is why I do that, sir.
Yeah. Get a couple more in there. The acting, although a lot of it is cheesy, I like it.
It's supposed to be.
I like it.
Yeah.
Especially his henchman. His henchman, which was Philbin.
Oh, Philbin.
I like Philbin. What a dick.
I made her the money grubbing horse she is, and he called me a...
Yeah.
Dry up, Tubbo.
But the performances, the acting, I liked it. It's cheesy, it's supposed to be, and I think that's what I liked about it.
You don't know the half of it, Goliath.
I thought it was also funny that the Gerrit Beef, he was also gay. At least that they're alluding to that.
Effeminate. I wouldn't say gay.
What was that?
I don't think they make any allusions to his sexuality, but they do play him as effeminate, which is opposite of what his stage persona.
Well, I mean, Philbin calls him Tinkerbell at one point.
Right, but again, I don't think it's. I don't. you can make the connection, and in the 70s, sure, I'm sure it might have been intentional. But what I like about the film is it never really crosses the sexual orientation.
Might have been.
What?
Might have been.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't cross.
It was intentional.
Well, but what I'm saying, it's not like he doesn't show any attraction to men or women. They don't go through that. All I'm trying to say is they don't paint him as a gay person. They just paint him as acting gay, which I don't know if it's better or worse. But I'm just trying to make that distinction. It's not like they portray him, oh, this is a homosexual and this is how they act. No, he's just a person that acts effeminately, and you can make the assumption that he's gay.
Right.
If you're a bigot. But
the scene that's on now is where the Phantom Winslow confronts Swan for the first time, and he like grabs his neck and he's like, killing me won't do you any good, and he pulls off the mask, and Swan is just like, God, you're horrible, but he's excited about it.
No, don't go away.
Just the face is like, God, you're horrible.
He's all salesman and showman, and which is part of the charm. I mean, this is one of those films where if someone said they were going to remake it, I wouldn't be upset, because, hey, maybe someone could take a new spin on it. And if they remade this, there's no way they would do it exactly. It wouldn't be like the Psycho remake, where it's, let's just redo the whole film the same way. They would change it for modern times and change, a lot of it. I don't think.
Considering that, for whatever reason, movies with music in them are popular again. Don't know why. All the way down to fucking Dancing with the Stars. All this just shit television. People are just attracted to it all over again.
Music's easy.
It's easy to fuck up too.
Well, it is easy to fuck up, but music is, and I think it's one of the messages in the film too. There's a whole. I remember Gary and I got into a debate at one point, or was it? No, I had mentioned something to him. If you read the article on the film in Cult Films Volume 2, or Cult Movies Volume 2, I think it's called, the reviewer had a problem with the film where at the beginning they demonstrate that excuse me, that Swan pretty much sets the tone. At the end, when the Juicy Fruits sing, everybody looks up to the Swan and no one applauds till he applauds first, saying, it's not going to be recognized as popular until he dubs it popular. The kind of idea about the music industry creating its own hits, or setting the guideline of what's popular and what's being a hit. Later on, after Beef is killed, the big tragedy of the film, because Beef's like the one innocent character in the whole movie.
Yeah. He was ready to leave.
Yeah, he's the one guy you actually feel bad for in this whole film. Nobody else really gets the sympathy, even Winslow, that Beef deserves.
Oh, there she is. She's dancing.
Right.
Oh,
you don't like that?
I fucking hate it.
And we're not working just to survive.
Oh, it's like a fucking. Just grab your partner, round and round. It's like, sorry, go ahead.
But after Beef dies and the crowd's ready to, like they're chanting for blood, they send Phoenix out to sing, and she sings this quiet, soft song and woos the crowd. And the reviewer, and I was telling Gary while we're watching this, is, this guy wrote he doesn't like this part because it doesn't make sense that this crowd that's ready for blood would suddenly just turn around and become docile because this woman came out and sang. It doesn't make any sense.
I hate that part because it's good music to shit music, but that's me.
But then Gary pointed out, but they've already set up the precedent, and I'm paraphrasing, we weren't talking like this back then. So they already set the precedent at the beginning of the film where Swan sets the tone, so pretty much anything they put on stage, the audience is going to accept. So it was an interesting angle, and it's one of those films that you can read on different levels. That's my point, the long term. That there's so much going on in the film, is a lot of different themes, a lot of different philosophies. You really can dissect it and watch it over and over again and get different things from it.
Okay. She's dancing again.
But you're working so hard that you don't even know you're alive.
I can't take the dancing. I can't do it.
I mean, like the scene where.
There's one part where she's dancing at the end of the film where it's literally the fucking chicken dance with the arms.
But that's during the wedding sequence.
Yeah,
but everybody's dancing crazy during the wedding sequence. That was.
Yeah, well, she's the most fucking crazy. because she's the worst fucking dancer I've ever seen.
You know what? Most dancing just looks stupid to begin. If you ever like watch a dance floor and just watch people dancing, not choreographed. I'm talking like just random people in a club or something.
Oh yeah.
Most of it just fucking stupid.
And she made it a whole new fucking level of stupid.
I think you're being too harsh on Phoenix.
Fuck.
Oh, there's like a whole.
Look at this. Look at it. It's so fucking bad.
She wasn't originally supposed to be
dancing. Jesus,
the main
Christ.
person. Again, like if you go, I can't even remember half of it. But
when did she do opera? Well, that was after this, right?
There were so many. She was in opera.
Yeah.
No,
no, I'm not opera. It was
opera. Suspiria.
Suspiria.
That was after that. That was 77.
Yeah.
Suspiria.
It was 3 years later.
But she also did a Woody Allen film between that too. So give her some credit for that.
Sure. Does she dance in that one?
I don't know. There was no dancing in.
Let's hope not.
There's no dancing in Love and Death. She was in a lot of musicals. Apparently, she did a lot more singing. I don't remember her from Pennies from Heaven, which I did not like.
I don't remember that movie at all.
Well,
that's not true. If I saw it, I might remember it.
You know what? I remember as a kid hating it, and then like last year, the year before, I was like, I'm going to revisit the Steve Martin film because I as an adult, I appreciate his more adult films, and it was one of those films that came out at a time where he was the wild and crazy guy, so no one liked it, and I watched it like now, and I still don't like it. Not because it's bad, but because there's, I don't know, it's just nothing appealing to it for me. It's no. And she was not in Rocky Horror Picture Show, but she was in the equal Shock Treatment.
Yeah.
So there's that. But no, she's not especially great. Wow, I didn't realize she was in Big Man on Campus. I have that film.
Oh, I love that movie.
That's a horrible fucking movie.
Well, I'm glad you challenged it to me because I did get to watch it again, and I did realize that it is a film that I don't actually hate. Maybe another viewing or two, I might actually move into the like category.
Real quick, do you want to rate Phantom of the Paradise on IMDb and make our voices heard?
Sure. See, here's my only problem. You're going to want to go 9 or 10 on this.
Obviously. All right, let's be fair. I'm not going to say 10. I don't think it's a perfect film.
Okay.
Okay, that would be presumptuous
to me to say anything higher than a 7, I would be lying to myself. Okay?
All right, look, now here's how reasonable Scott is.
Okay.
I'm willing to go 7. Obviously, there's some production value issues that occurred when they had to edit the film last minute. And also the film does suffer a bit from 70s editing. Say no more. And I'd be lying if I said I thought Brian De Palma was a brilliant director. No. He's a good and interesting director who has made some very great films, or films that I liked, but I wouldn't put him up on par with, I can't even think of someone that would put up that high. So off the top of my head, but so I'm willing to go 7 with you, just because I'm willing to make those concessions.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
That sounds very fair.
Because again, just because I love the film doesn't mean I think it's perfect.
Okay.
See how easy I can be sometimes. Don't get used to this because when we do Fifth Element, I'm gonna fucking tear it. I'm not giving any quarter on that.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna say 7. Only 9,000 votes and change on IMDb.
That's terrible.
It's like what? No one's watching this film. This is a weird one. The top 3 ratings are 7, 8, and 10. There are more people that thought it was worth a 10 or an 8 than there were. 10, 8, and 7 are both around 20%. 9, 13%. So it's not a complete curve or a horseshoe. No. Very weird. Demographics: males under 18 is the highest. Yes, with 8.5. Nice to know the young kids are still digging the rock ballad opera thingies. Lowest demographic is females aged 45 and older. They also too probably don't like Phoenix's dancing in the film. So you have, Oh, I'm sorry. it's almost tied. I misspoke. The highest demographic is males under 18. The lowest demographic is females under 18. And apparently only 5 females under 18 have ever bothered to rate this film.
Oh, okay.
So
5, huh?
Yes. So the under 18 community is firmly divided against the credibility of the movie, while most people over that age are kind of like me. It's like, I'll give it a 7. And one IMDb staffer rated it 4. Fuck you. Fuck you. The one IMDb staffer that rated this a 4. Fuck you. I hope you hear this show. Fuck you.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they rated it a 4 without even revisiting it. Like, I would have given it a 4 had you not challenged it to me and I rewatched it, just because I just remembered hating it so much when I was a kid.
And here's something that really is starting to bother me with these rating things. It's not the fact that, like, oh, I love this film, but it only got a 6. Or, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of variety. I can see somebody not liking this movie as much as I did, or holding it to much higher standard as I do, which would be kind of hard. But who actually gives this movie a 1?
No,
175 people saw this film and hated it so much they gave it a 1. Now I don't put 10s out there often, but I really don't put 1s out there that often either. It's got to be a real 1 is like
Baby Geniuses.
Okay, yeah. Baby Geniuses 2, I would say.
Sure.
Baby Geniuses maybe a 2 or a 3. But I just really, some of these films, I don't understand the people that are just that nasty. Like, 1. Actually, for this film, even the IMDb staffer that gave it a 4 can go screw. I don't even understand that.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. It's just, it seems very, very, very severe. It's like they're not even trying. It's like everything they rate must be a 10 or a 1.
True. Okay.
I'm sorry, I got a tangent.
No, it's okay. That's totally. I just let you go.
No, you're right. You should have stopped me. But anyway.
Anyway, all right. Ending music is playing.
Yay!
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Episode 168.
Yes.
Of Moviesucktastic, where we reviewed Phantom of the Paradise, 1974 Brian De Palma film. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. I am actually officially in the process of redoing our webpage.
Yay!
All right. You can go there and you can listen to the show live. You can download the shows if you want to listen to them later. You can watch the live stream right from the site. You can go to iTunes. You can download the show or listen to it there as well. Leave us reviews. We always appreciate it. You can also go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You can leave us voicemail, 908-514-4470, 908-514-4470. The email address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. And most importantly is the free Android app for your smartphone or your tablet, your phablet, anything that runs Android.
Not allowed to say that word.
Okay. Anything that runs an Android operating system, this app works for. It's 100% free. Everything I talked about is in there in a nice, tidy, neat package. Go ahead and download it. You won't be sorry. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little too much gin in that one?
No such thing.
No such thing.
Gin makes a man mean.
That's right. God, I remember that from the old days.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You have any words of wisdom?
Do I look like a kidder to you?
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.